go here into edit again. And of course to the left, there's import. That's where we started everything. So here you can super easy switch between these tabs if you get confused. And also, of course, here's the home button, which brings us to the very first view when we open up our Premiere Pro. And in here, we could start a new project and or open a project. So you know these icons now as well. And now it's getting in detail because we're talking now about these top bar we have here. Let's start Adobe Premiere Pro. You can first of all see the current version you have. Make sure this is always up to date. You can see the settings here, which is really important. Let's open up the settings and let's start with general. And here you have all different kind of settings of your Premiere Pro. This is really important to go through and to understand some of the settings. Here you have your general settings and preferences, which you can of course customize over time. But yeah, here you don't really have to change anything. It's just really important that you know that you have the option to change here things to your likes. You also have the appearance here. You can change, for example, the brightness if you want it lighter. If you, for example, edit outside at a nice beach, or darker if you want to edit anywhere inside. You can also change everything to that bottom. You have here the preview. You want to make them pop more, the highlights, or you have the focus indicator here. You can change your buttons to your likes as well. You have the audio. I don't really change anything here. For the audio hardware, this can be really important if you have an input. In my case, a microphone. If you want to record directly into Premiere Pro, this is possible. You can select your input here. And what's really important is the output. So if you use a MacBook speaker, if you use headphones, you of course have to connect them with Bluetooth or plug them in. And then you also have to choose here your default output to your likes. Here we have the autosave option, which I was talking about earlier. Make sure this is checked. So it's automatically saving every 5 minutes in my case, and it's maximum saving 20 versions. If you have an ultra long project and it goes on forever and you've been editing this project for, I don't know, weeks, months or years, make sure to crank this number up because you're gonna reach that 20 pretty fast. So if you save every 5 minutes, yeah. And you can also, here choose your folder where it's changed the savers in the background for autosaves if you have a team project, but you're not going to create a team project now. So this is not too important right now. Here is another collaboration option for team projects. You have the color display here. I'm not changing anything here. Control surface, not changing anything. Graphics, yeah, I'm definitely sticking with that. You can here change the different default emoji fonts. This can be helpful. You can name your different colors. You can label clips. Let's move on with the preferences and the settings up here. I think we stopped at the labels because we're talking about labeling. Here you can pick different colors. You can even go really deep into the color picker and decide which color you want, and then of course name them. You have the media here, which I'm going to leave like that as well. You have a media cache, which is really important to know. Sometimes if you have a lot of edits done in Premiere Pro, make sure you delete that media cache. So it's deleting the unused files in the media cache, which is sometimes a lot. I think I haven't deleted mine in a while. So I think it just probably saved me like 80 gigabyte on my computer. So this can be really helpful to know. On the memory, I'm now like telling Premiere Pro how much RAM should be reserved for other applications. So I set mine to 6 gigabytes. It works good for me. If you set it too low, like 3, I found out that Premiere Pro starts lagging because you need RAM for all the stuff going on in the background. So 6 is, I don't know, a sweet spot for me. You have that playback here. Leave that option as it is. Sorry, I keep closing it. So now we have the sync settings, also leaving as it is. Here you have the preferences for your timeline, and I want you to change one thing because you probably have it on page scroll, the timeline playback, and which is this here. So your playback probably looks like that, and now it's jumping. It's always doing like these pages, like jumping the pages. And there's one way smoother way. So just go in here, make sure you go to timeline and choose not page scroll, smooth scroll. It's gonna make such a big difference. Look at that. Now when we are zoomed in, as soon as the slider hits the middle, it always sticks to the slider. So this is so helpful. Believe me, change the settings. It's key. Nice. Let's move on. So we have trim and transcription here. We don't need to change anything here for now. That's totally fine. Next one is keyboard shortcuts. This one is really important because in here you can see all the effects and all the shortcuts for your keyboard. And I would really recommend to import the keyboard shortcuts I did upload for you. I'm going to show you in a second because it's so important to know your shortcuts. Here you can see everything. This is the control. You can customize it here with the menu. You can search for different actions and just drag them onto your keyboard to the right keys you want. And this is saving so much time. So make sure you import the settings I give you and you have that list, print that list and study keyboard shortcuts. I know at the beginning it's super boring and it's not the most exciting thing. It feels like learning and like remembering, but believe me, if you want to become a really good and fast editor and enjoy the process, you have to learn the keyboard shortcuts. That's how it is. That's how you become a really good editor. Up to the right, you can set, of course, your keyboard layout language. And this is not going to affect the language of Premiere Pro in general. If you want to know how to change the language, let me know and I will create a video. But here it's just for your keyboards. Here we can actually make changes and save the changes as a preset. So if we change the computer, if we update to another version, we can upload again our presets. So we have to learn our presets once and we can always use them on all the machines and in all Premiere Pro versions. So I created a preset which I think is perfect, which works awesome for me. And I'm going to show you how to import it into Premiere Pro. So first of all, it's important to download this keyboard file. So this one we are going to copy with Command C. And now we go into Documents, Adobe, Premiere Pro, and choose the current Premiere Pro version you are working in. And then go to Profile, whatever your name is here. And then to Mac, or if you're on Windows, go to Windows. In here, we are just pressing Command V. And we are pretty much dropping that file in here. So, it didn't work. So let's drop it in here. Boom. And now if we open it up again, we should be able to see Keanu Visuals file. So now we can select it and everything has changed. Now you have my keyboard shortcuts and you can work with the list I gave you. And yes, this makes a big difference. Now you can do stuff like I showed you before with Command L. You can link stuff. You can do Command K for cutting. So make sure you have a look at that list. Also, you can have a look here up at the keyboard shortcut settings to know what the different buttons do, because this is going to save you so much time. If you guys are interested in a full video just explaining the keyboard shortcuts, let me know and I'm going to create one. All right, with that being said, let's move on to the next one. Here we don't need to worry about anything else. Here under File, we can create new files like a project, sequence, a Photoshop file, and pretty much we have similar settings to here, like the new item one. In here, we can also open projects, save our project, but I would always use just a shortcut. If you want to save the project as something else or as a different name or different location, just have to press Command Shift S and boom, that's a shortcut to save it somewhere else. Also Command M, as I said, is going to bring you to the export window. Yeah, so these are really important shortcuts. And yeah, here you can of course import footage. You can also export, but yeah, the shortcuts are just way faster. And also in here, you have the project manager. Right now, you don't really have to worry about that. You can just leave it like that for now. And here in edit, we can do all different kind of stuff like duplicating stuff. I would always go for the shortcuts, guys. Of course, you can use here the colors too. So I have set some colors on some shortcuts. So you can also set, for example, the color red. If you use a lot of red onto a shortcut, so you just press that button and the clip is labeled within a second. So it's important to know here you can convert this project to a team project. So if you have an existing project and you want to start working with different editors on that project, here is the way to go. Next is clip. You have different options here, but yeah, just go through it. You can also change the speed and duration here, but it's pretty much quite similar or like almost the same. If you just do a right click on that clip, you're gonna see the same options. I forgot the speed and duration, of course. If you do a right click, you also have that shortcut. Make sure to check that out, but you can change the speed now here to about 90 For example, another way to change the speed is here. You can change that line is now responsible for the opacity. So if I right click, you see opacity here is checked. I can also check position scale, different motion parameters to be affected by that line here and create keyframes. Or another thing is time remapping speed. I'm going to show you this in another video as well, but basically you can create a keyframes here with holding command, clicking on that line. And if you drag up that line, it's going to increase the speed. So now it's faster and now it's going back to a little bit slower. So basically if you go down the line, you see we're now at 66% percentage of speed. And if we go up, we can like increase the speed. Yes, so that's how you can pretty much create cool speed ramps. But for now, it's just good to you to remember where to find everything. We are going really in deep to create these effects and you will learn it by doing. But this video is to show you all the different things you can do and different buttons. So yeah, that's another option. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty much the same like the right click. Going up here to clip, you have sequence. Of course, this is really important to go here in the sequence settings and like maybe change something. If we, I don't know, apparently want to change to 16:9 video, we can just go in here and bring in our new aspect ratio and frame size, press OK. And yes, we are changing the whole container, the sequence size to the one we are just selected. And then of course we have to reframe. And yes, this is really important to go up here and have that option to change different sequence settings. We can render it, pre-render it. So sometimes if the project gets really complex, you need to pre-render it to see what you have actually done. Yeah, you have some more different options here, but I don't really use them. In here, we have the marker settings and you see all the different shortcuts here as well. So as I showed you, for the in point markers, you just have to press I and O for the out point, and then you have your markers, your selections. So yeah, use the keyboard shortcuts here. It's going to make your process 100 times faster. And then you have graphic and titles. Of course, you could create new layers here. Yeah, but I don't really use that options up here. You can have different options here in view for the playback resolution as well. But guys, going just in here and changing it is way faster. And of course you have window. You have seen window before. So we have the options here to change the workspaces. Same as here, you know that option, but you can also check and uncheck windows. So for example, when you have a tutorial and you're like, man, this guy has his effect panels and everything open. I can't find my effects panel. Look here, it's just disappeared. So just go up to window and in here, make sure the effects panel, which is here, is checked. And if it's not checked, make sure you check it and you're going to see it again. So don't worry if anything disappears like that. I don't know, you have closed that panel for some reason and you can see it. Just go up to window, make sure it is checked here. And if it's not checked, you can just go in here and check it again and you are going to see it.